by subscribing, ring the notification bell, press all, and thumbs up. Thank you.
Hi, I am Chaplain Eli Estrin. I am a chaplain with the 6th Air Refueling Wing, MacDill Air Force Base, and it's my honor to talk to you a little bit about the beliefs of Judaism. Judaism is a faith that can be summarized as the relationship of each individual Jew and the collective Jewish people with God through the performance of mitzvot, meaning commandments enumerated in the 5 books of Moses. Some of these mitzvot are required actions, while others are prohibited behaviors. There are 613 mitzvot, the most famous of which are the 10 Commandments. The key to Judaism is not salvation, but the strengthening of our relationship with God through the performance of mitzvot and good deeds, the avoidance of sin, and the return to God after sinning. Judaism's holiest texts are referred to by the generic term Torah, which means teaching. That word also refers specifically to the 5 books of Moses. 24 biblical books collectively form the Tanakh, and that word is an acronym for the Hebrew words Torah, Nevi'im, and Ketuvim, meaning scripture, prophets, and writings. Judaism views the books of prophets and writings as prophetic elaboration on our relationship with God. The laws and customs of Judaism are governed by what may be described as a constitutional system, beginning with the 5 books of Moses as the primary legal text. The intricacies of religious law were eventually clarified in the Talmud, which is a huge compendium of discussions of rabbis encompassing law, philosophy, morals, and lore. The Talmud was compiled from the year 220 in the Common Era to 500 in the Common Era, and it was compiled in both Jerusalem and Babylon. The entirety of Jewish law was systematically codified by the renowned philosopher Rabbi Moses Maimonides, who died in 1204. He also streamlined traditional Judaism's basic beliefs into 13 principles of faith. These principles can be divided into 3 elements. Firstly, the belief in God's existence and unity. Secondly, his communication with mankind through the Torah. And third, belief in divine reward and consequence. A further codification of Jewish law, as it is applicable in daily life, was written by Rabbi Yosef Karo in the city of Tzfat, Israel, in 1563. And that book is known as the Code of Jewish Law. Study of the laws and philosophy of Judaism is considered a sacred duty alongside prayer and other such religious texts. In the modern era, Judaism consists of several movements. American Jews will often identify as being Orthodox, Conservative, or Reform. The allegiance to one particular strain of Judaism typically reflects the synagogue the individual attends, rather than his or her religious theological standards. But from a purely philosophical standpoint, the basic difference between these groups is Orthodox Judaism applies the traditional rulings of Jewish law into all facets of life. The conservative movement, which was formed in the late 19th century, takes a more liberal approach in their application of Jewish law to many modern issues, but maintains the basic outline and format of traditional Judaism, while the Reform movement, founded in the early half of the 19th century, made significant changes in Jewish liturgy and worship in an effort to modernize the religion. Many American Jews are unaffiliated to one movement or another. However, even with no synagogue or communal involvement, most Jews have certain Jewish customs or holidays that they celebrate with their families in any case. One final point. There's no hierarchy in Judaism as there are in many other faiths. Rather, the religious figure in each community is its rabbi. That word comes from the Hebrew word teacher, and this, in fact, is the primary responsibility of the rabbi, to teach the law and guide and inspire the community. The esteem a rabbi has is based on his scholarship, piety, and charisma, but ultimately, it is up to the individual Jew to connect to God with their personal activity and behavior, regardless of any other factors. This concludes our summary of this 3,500-year-old religion, and I hope that even though this is just a few minutes, it will provide you with some insight into serving our Jewish airmen. And for that, I just want to personally thank you so much in advance for looking